Hello my friends, sorry about just practicing my balance, and sorry about all the hissing noise in the background, but imagine the boys around here, which you can see them in a pretty good rural park kind of thing. And what I came across while I'm walking around, I see three excellent, actually even more than three excellent, gotta make sure you're not gonna step in dog poop, core branches. See, these branches were in the core of the tree at one time. And what we get to see on this one somewhat is the spiraling effect. They spiral, you can kind of see the markings in it a bit there. This branch doesn't look like it lived. That is very cool. This branch got to come to somewhere in this range and was shut down. These ones got to go at least into those ranges. And what I've been trying to explain in my layman's understandings is the cord branch is the DNA branch of the tree. The sucker branch is a branch that can be encouraged from just the meat of the tree out here. It would be really cool if we found a branch right here, like that one right there. Well, it's got the core system. So if we would have found a nub without a core, would have been ideal. Let me back up a bit. But you can still get a little bit of an understanding of the way I just explained it there. So that's the two that are going in there. And you can tell they look like they were shut down here. Look at all the abuse kind of symptoms around here. Here too. See, it wasn't being allowed just to keep spurting the way it looks on the other side. It started to get all abused up, and that's what I'm trying to show people is, what the evidence show me is the branch has its real DNA. And at the same time, see if I see something here that could give me that understanding. So look at it right here. See how these branches are two off of that side? And they're two off at the 90 degrees. This one's the same though. But that is an old history knowledge of a lot of the trees. The trees actually do have a certain pattern that they follow generally. All that's gone now. Isn't that a nice one, eh? Freaking beautiful. There's more of it there. The whole hive. Wonder what we were. I'm gonna say that might have been hornets. Yeah, the size of those pouches and everything, I'm gonna say that was a hornet's nest. Yep, that's hornet, all right. Young hornet. Isn't that cool? So back to those branches. So, for instance here, if this is actually the species of this tree here, which you can't tell from the barks, a lot of scientists can't even tell the species of the trees very well from the barks down at the bases of them much. They have to see a fresher bark up there, or they need to get to the needles, leaves, whatever. But this looks like it's actually growing out of there. So let's just say this is cedar. You know, I'm not really super, that's holly, I think. You know, I'm not super familiar with this kind of stuff. So let's just say that's a sucker then. It's not coming from inside there because it would have been growing a lot longer ago. They don't have a tendency to start all of a sudden just growing from the core now. So what you can do is you get to sample this understanding. You can go around to branches. Say there's a branch coming off, especially one that's shooting up like this. You can go along there and sort of cut it out like that. You know, you won't trigger the tree to die, but somebody else might trigger the tree to die if you do too much of a butchering on it. But I tell you, these species, these things, these trees, they're phenomenally abuse weatherable. You know, they can handle a lot of abuse. And what we think around here is our windstorms and stuff like that doing this? No. To some degree, yes. Because these guys are so good, the supernatural, that they probably know when the real high winds are blowing in. What do? They set up a lot of easy falls. This is all the information that keeps coming along. Like, once you're able to walk beside me, then when you start to walk in the forest yourself, the things I haven't told you yet will come and question you. And then you can start to try to answer them. And this stuff's huge. It has to do with the BS behind the UFO phenomena, the scare of it, how the governments are now all talking about it, many of them. And it's just scaring the people, and they know as much as you. And the truth is, you don't know much. And I'm trying to tell people that I actually, what is this, just garbage? Yeah. That I have a bunch of information from my own studies. You know, look at the overabundance of seeding. When I was a kid, it was hard to find pine cones. So many times. Look at all your other plants and see how much they're seeding. These guys are farmers. They've been here forever. They understand the system way better than us. They might probably be. Because I say the original farming community, they really are, you know, going to be the ones who mixed up some of these soups and grew this and grew that and this popped out. Or that's all science's job. That's not my job. I'm not trying to be some kind of a wizard on all of this information. But I'm telling you, I'm in my 8th year of trying really hard to learn what was going on here. Like you all out there. Yeah, you might have seen that I was having some struggles, but if you're going to tell me that you weren't having struggles, then I'm just going to say you don't know what you're talking about. We've all been struggling in different ways. You might be able to be a person that just does it with a real happy attitude somehow, but we're all out here struggling. I haven't been a miserable whatever kind of an attitude through all my struggles. Like I might have been moody, but my attitude did not go to waste. It was always trying to climb out of the pit. And on saying that stuff, go back this way, there's a couple of people walking around a bit, and I just don't want to bother anybody. But you know, that's my soup. I got a whole bunch of stuff in here, and I can point it all out and put it out on the table, and I understand that it's really hard for you to figure it out over my thousands of videos. But I don't get a lot of questions. And when I get questions, like if somebody says to me, show me this thing that's a supernatural, like being, like a Bigfoot, like a Sasquatch, like a big black, like a gorilla maybe, like black like that, and that's mostly the resemblance of it. But when you come down to looking at his eyes and stuff, you start to think, well, there's either an eye trick or shadow pockets are doing the opposite. Like they're, instead of looking like a concave eye and it's just all shadowed there so we don't get to see much, it's protruding out the eyes. They look like they're bulging. And that isn't a one-off. Those are the things you miss a lot in the bush. In a lot of my videos and stuff are those guys. The bulge eyes. Generally black in looks. There's other looks out there, but that one's a real big look. So when I'm talking about piles of Bigfoot and Sasquatch and stuff like that, I'm not necessarily meaning how you might be wanting to understand it. You might be wanting to think about just Paddy Sasquatch. Well, this camera's not very good, so if you zoom in, you probably won't get much of a picture, but I'm trying to do a little bit of a sweep for that background back there. And I jumped around on this video a little bit, just like I do. It's maybe part of my nature. But I want you to feel free to get involved, asking any questions. If you want to come and visit and hang out, not at this park. We'll go real places. I just happen to be staying in town here. So it was an opportunity for me to come and hang out. That's what I chose to do. So peace out.